My name is Alicia Shapiro with AInews.com, and welcome to another episode of our Driving Tomorrow Conversations with Industry Leaders, where we explore the latest developments and newest innovations in the world of artificial intelligence. Today, I'm excited to be speaking with Marty Sprinzen, the CEO of Vantiq, a company leading the industry in real time intelligent software solutions. Marty has dedicated his career to pushing the boundaries of technology, creating transformative applications that span from healthcare to disaster management. And under his leadership, Vantiq has pioneered platforms that seamlessly integrate AI, the Internet of Things, and edge computing to empower life saving decisions and support critical infrastructure. In today's interview, we'll discuss Vantiq's groundbreaking work with Mayo Clinic, its initiative to support Ukraine's rebuilding efforts, and the exciting future of real time AI applications across diverse industries. Thank you for joining us today, Marty.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. To start things off, Vantic has seen significant success across multiple sectors, like we were just talking about, from healthcare to disaster management. Could you share one or some of the biggest challenges and or breakthroughs that your team has encountered while bringing these real-time intelligent solutions to life?
Okay, sure. So what we focus on is the real-time aspects of using AI. Now, AI has been out there for decades and
Mhm.
figures out machines are sick, go repair it. And then with the latest generative AI using language, it's become pretty much creative. Comes the existence and knowledge of mankind is now put into these large language models, and amazingly, it's actually able to figure things out as to what the problems are and what should be done.
Oh,
And even though people say it's putting one word after another, the knowledge of mankind is in the internet. So
mhm.
all of the poems and the prose and the ideas, and so it uses that. What we do in particular is we use generative AI in real time. Now, the use of generative AI for the most part is with humans prompting it. Now, there
Mhm.
are with some agents that can automatically generate prompts to make a reservation, et cetera, and that movement is occurring. But
Mhm.
what we see the future is that generative AI is going to be an integral part to how we manage our world. And that's the
Okay.
big difference. You alluded to some of the systems that we're building. So in ambulances, we're running in the back of an ambulance with a Mayo Clinic and a partner monitoring the patients. And a number, more than a dozen lives have been saved on their way to the hospital because the system analyzed something severe is happening. Maybe the EMT couldn't deal with it, so it got an ER doctor from the hospital to get on the phone and or on the system and to give advice and then guide the patient to safety to save lives. We have a number of systems that we're building like that. I think the major point to tie it together is we use AI in real time, as you pointed out, with IoT sensors and services, analyze what's going on, and then take action, which could be involving humans or giving or even automating actions.
That's so powerful and innovative at the same time. It's just really cool that you're doing this. I think that's neat. So, in with your technology, we were just talking about the life-saving role that your generative AI plays in real time, but specifically with the Mayo Clinic, emergency medical teams use the Gen AI-enabled cameras to receive real-time guidance. Can you share about how your platform, if you could go into a little more detail about the life-saving scenarios and the potential it holds for medical response?
Sure. So in an ambulance, somebody's already in trouble. And so
Mhm.
therefore, you read the vital signs, you see what's going on. And if things are degrading, then the system will take actions, such as telling the EMT in the ambulance or making a recommendation or even involving a doctor in real time. But there are numerous cases of healthcare that we're working on. So another example is we're building with a partner a system that has a lot of data inside of it for an individual. So it knows your DNA, your health history,
Oh,
has all the data as to what to do, and is actively reading real-time information from your Whoop or your Apple Watch or your Aura Ring.
oh,
And
wow.
it's analyzing what's going on. So let me give you one example there. Let's say that you're hiking up, you're pretty healthy, and you're hiking up the Grand Canyon, and it's 92 degrees out, and you have another 1,000-foot gain. The system, an avatar next to you, can open its conversation with you like a chat bot and say, "Hey, Elisa, you're healthy, but it's going to be 98 degrees on top. You're already showing some signs of overheating. You might want to stop a third of a mile ahead at an air-conditioned lodge to take a break." And then you
Wow.
could respond to the system, okay, tell me if things get worse. And when I get to the lodge, I probably will stop there. Or you can ask the system, hey, I'm not feeling good today. I have a headache. What's going on? So again, it has all your medical data, has real-time sensors, puts it all together, and they're going to be selling this next year,
Wow.
2025. And it's a very interesting application and can save lives, heat stroke
Oh,
and etc.
yeah.
So that's one. We have many healthcare applications we're looking to build. Other ones, remote patient monitoring in general. And it's similar to the one I just mentioned with a person having heat stroke climbing. But also, what about in nursing centers or old age homes where people
Yeah.
are at risk and there are indications of problems before they are real obvious? For example, in a healthcare center, the simple things might be a person's temperature, but also cognitive abilities. For example, you could monitor with a camera spatial intelligence, which is coming to the market soon, a person's gait. And if you
Mm.
monitor their gait, like their voice, you might be able to tell, oh, they had a mini stroke, or their dementia is getting worse and you don't want to leave them alone in the room. These are the new types of AI systems that are going to be enabled. What Vantiq does, we don't create the AI, we manage it. And that's really the next step is creating platforms that could call standard AI, generative AI, and new types of AI, such as spatial intelligence AI, and put it all together to get a full analysis and then either recommend or actually take actions. This is an exciting world we're about to
Oh,
go
yeah.
into. Just one sentence in summary, we are about to monitor the way the world operates and change the way it works using AI.
That is exciting. That is so exciting and powerful, and I can't wait to see it come to happen because that is amazing. That's great. And you also have a partnership with the Economic Transparency Operating System that supports Ukraine's small city initiatives that provides a $500,000 Gen AI software donation. How does Vantik's technology facilitate transparency and efficiency in these rebuilding efforts? And what impact do you hope to see in the Ukraine?
The Ukraine is in a unique, unfortunate position because of the war,
Mm.
but a unique position in that it's got to rebuild itself.
Yep.
And it's not just the physical infrastructure, that's obviously a big part of it, but as it
Hmm.
rebuilds itself, it's going to use the latest technologies. And so we're working with a partner, and one of our people visited a group of 300 mayors in the Ukraine, and we're going to help to build the economy of trust. Because one of the things, unfortunately, that could happen in all of this massive dollars, billions, tens of billions that's going to be pouring in is it could be misused. So
Yeah.
we're going to create a system that'll have everything in it and have probably using blockchain to have
Hmm.
immutable ledgers so we keep track of what's happening and make sure that the money is going where it's supposed to go. And
Hmm.
therefore, efficiency can go way up. But we're looking at working in the Ukraine beyond that, smart cities and other technologies as well. And so, yes, it's unfortunate the war existed, but it does have an opportunity to rebuild itself and leapfrog a lot of modern
Yeah.
technologies with using AI, blockchain, et cetera.
That they could be the leader in all this.
Absolutely. And that's our goal is to work with them. And as you said, we've donated 500,000 in
Hmm.
software, and we're going to help them achieve this.
That's great. Love that. And Wound AI is an advanced clinical support platform developed on Vantik's Gen AI powered system that improves wound care. What specific challenges in wound care does it address, and how does it transform the workflows and patient outcomes?
Okay, so this is an application we built with NTT's organization in the US and some other partners. And what the application does is it monitors the wounds that patients could have in a hospital. It uses AI to determine the severity of the wound. So is it leading to sepsis or real problems very quickly? And then we will basically orchestrate the actions. Is it getting worse over time, better over time? If it's getting worse, are there other indications? And then get the right healthcare professionals involved as quickly as possible so that the outcomes are not disastrous.
Vantiq is covering everything. That's great. And one more area that it's dipping into is the disaster response with TruWeather, bringing artificial intelligence to emergency management after disasters. Could you elaborate on that role with real-time data-driven decisions that how that plays enhancing disaster response and resource allocations?
Okay, absolutely. So yes, TruWeather is a partner. Also, NTT, the system integrator in Tokyo, is a partner, and they built a system called DResilio.
Okay.
And what we do is we see what's happening from sensors and also get the information from the weather bureaus, et cetera, services. And then we have the access to the databases so we can get the first responders to the right place at the right time with the right information. So that's up and running already in Tokyo.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, so if there's a disaster, we get the right people to the right place to help out quickly. But the next generation systems, which we're working with various partners, have something new using this guy, this smartphone. So let's say, for example, you're in a disaster. Let's say a flood in Tokyo. The
Okay.
system can actually wake you up like an Amber Alert because it knows you
Oh.
have some problems and say, Alicia, you're in an area that's flooding right now, and you're going to have to evacuate because it has all that data from the services and sensors and also social media and other inputs. And
Hmm.
so it's giving you advice. And you can then say, or it can ask you, do you want advice on how to safely get out of there? And you can say yes, and it'll give you one or two routes, and it'll guide you along the way, like Google Maps, except this is very particular to getting you away from the disaster. You could also ask a question. It's an AI system. It has access to lots of information. And you can say, and let's say, assume that on your smartphone is your mother's address. You can say, is my mother's area in trouble? Should she evacuate
Oh,
too? And
that's
the
so
system
cool.
can, and the system has her address, can look it up and say, no, your mother's in a safe area. Now, one more thing I want to mention. As it's guiding you to safety, things could change. So let's say it gave you a direction to go over a particular bridge. And as you're targeting to walk over that bridge collapses or floods over. The system is very much aware of where you are using GPS and will immediately intervene and say, you can't go over that bridge. The bridge is flooding. Here is a new route. Do you want to take it? And you say yes. Then it'll also, this is generative AI, and is using retrieval augmented generation. It's like a vector database that it puts other additional data in. It'll take that information and put it into the vector database so that no longer will anybody be told to go over that bridge because the bridge is
Mm.
flooded. And so it's learning during the disaster and it's
Oh.
changing the recommendations it would give based on that and would also go back and any other people that were told to go over that bridge, it would reroute them. This is a whole new generation of technology. And the other point I want to make, Alicia, is it's very complex. We
Hmm.
come from a world, I've been in five software companies. I've been in the industry forever, and we had databases and large servers, and then the internet, of course, for e-commerce and social. But now what we're talking about is automating how the world operates. This is a whole new
Right.
level of automation. The complexities are at least an order of magnitude greater. This is why Vantic exists. We created a
Hmm.
platform to build these applications, but we know there will be others because
Hmm.
the world is in dire straits in various areas. Climate change is one. Whether you believe
Yes.
it's man-made or not, it pretty much exists, and that can be proven statistically. So there's
Hmm.
going to be more hurricanes and more problems. And people need to be guided when these problems occur, fires, disasters, etc. And real-time software is going to be able to do that. And one more quick analogy I want to give. I give this one often. You
Hmm.
look at coffee makers, very simple. 30, 40 years ago, a coffee maker had no sensors, a dumb
Right.
machine. Coffee makers today, the sophisticated ones, have 10, 15 sensors and software within them to make it much more efficient and accurate and prevent problems of no water being there, for example.
Hmm.
We are about to, now coffee makers are contained environment. Assembly lines are too, but still contained. Now we're going to do that to the world. That is, the amount of data and the amount of things that need to be monitored are so much greater. The complexity goes up exponentially. And platforms like Vantiq have to be created that are very different than what we've had before.
Hmm. Oh, for sure. Does it have any early warning systems in place for like tornadoes or disasters that haven't quite happened but are headed your way?
Absolutely. I'll give an example, another one in healthcare. By the way, the markets we sell into are mostly healthcare, disaster management, and
Hmm.
defense, because these are markets that are dealing on the front lines of
Yes.
real-time problems. Okay, so we're building a system that monitors baby in neonatal units. Two Stanford
Oh,
MDs went to Sao Paulo and they're with a partner building the system using Vantage. They tried building it before. It's a very complex system. Now, the problem, as is related to me in neonatal units, is alarms do go off if a baby's, God forbid, the heart stops or the oxygen level gets below a point. But then it's pretty late. And first of all, you have to assume that the healthcare providers are going to respond quickly within seconds, really. And that often doesn't happen. And there's also alarm fatigue, I've been told. Too many alarms going off. Early warning, to your point, we can see what's happening to these babies in a neonatal unit before the problem gets severe enough to set off an alarm by monitoring the vital signs. And then you can prevent mortality or morbidity, which is really severe. Lack of oxygen to the baby's brain for some period of time can do damage to the brain, which will affect the baby for the rest of its life. So
yeah.
we're building this in Brazil. We're working with other partners in Tokyo and other places once the application is built to distribute it worldwide. The partner we're working with believes 1 million lives a year can be saved if we can monitor these babies before they get into that very severe state. So this is, and we're
That's
very proud of
huge.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's huge. It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's big. And Vantik's platform is also integrating multiple technologies like IoT, cloud, and edge. How do you envision the adaptability influencing the future of smart applications and infrastructure management?
It has to be adaptable because
Hmm.
to the point you're making, things are changing dramatically and are going to continue to change. And there's going to be feedback loops. And even
Okay.
to use a little esoteric term, emergent behavior, different behaviors than we've
Mm.
seen before. Social media obviously has resulted in very different behaviors. So one
Yeah.
of the feedback loops that'll occur, to your point, we use IoT sensors as well as services, then we analyze it with AI and Gen AI, and then over time, we orchestrate actions to address what's going on. But there are going to be multiple changes, and we're an abstraction layer above all of these technologies. So, for example, all of these sensors that exist today, it ain't stopping. The amount of
Mm.
sensors and the capability of sensors is going to exponentially grow because they can be used in systems like the ones that we build. And so, therefore, what can we monitor this and can we monitor that? And because it'll be useful in real time, sensors, that whole market is going to grow like crazy for
Yeah.
monitoring the environment and people, etc. The other thing that's going to grow like crazy, of course, is AI itself. We think of AI, the standard machine learning AI for fixing machines, and then generative AI for creativity, soon spatial intelligence to monitor videos to see the example I gave before, monitor somebody's gait. But
Yeah.
there's going to be other types of AI that we don't even contemplate today that are going to be innovative and implemented, and the changes are going to be massive. So the question is, your question, how do you adapt to that? You need an infrastructure that can plug and play, replace and upgrade all of these systems and include new systems. That the idea behind Vantic is like that, and I suspect there'll be other products like that over
Hmm.
time to
Yeah.
figure out what to do today, but then be open to change things in the future because we are on a growth curve technology wise that's never been seen before.
That's for sure. What inspired you to have Vantic do all this? This is pretty ambitious to take on natural disasters and emergency situations and healthcare. They're all important, and that's amazing that you're doing all this. But what inspired you to do all these different industries and apply the AI in the different sectors?
I sold a company, Forte Software, 20 years ago,
Hmm.
and decided, okay, retire or don't work for a while. And I
Hmm.
did that. I was exploring the world. And one of the key events, I took a nuclear Russian powered icebreaker. We were friends with Russia at the time, to the North Pole. And
Mhm.
on this trip, there were about 200 people on the boat. And on this trip, there were all of these PhDs talking about climate change, talking about the environment, and statisticians talking about here's what's projected, here's what's happened, and here's what's projected. And I realized this has to be addressed. The world
Yeah.
is getting into a deep problem. And again, this was probably 15 years ago that I
Mhm.
was on this boat. And that was one of the indications. I said, there's got to be a way that software can intervene to save lives, to figure out what happens during these disasters, and also take care of other issues. What about contaminated water? How do you get
Right.
water to the people at the right time? How do you monitor this before it becomes a disaster in situations like that? And I decided the next generation of software could be real-time systems.
Mhm.
And I decided to build a company. I called Paul Butterworth, and my co-founder, he had some similar ideas as using software for real-time analysis. And we formed the company with the goal to help the world. This was our way of giving back. We
Mhm.
both did well, and we said, let's do something that could really make a difference. And now we're exceedingly pleased that we're seeing the results of that. It's been a long endeavor, many years to build a very complex system to
Oh,
get
I
the
bet.
reliability, scalability, distributability, operational or orchestration ability. It's very difficult. And so now we have it up and running and we're selling it and growing rapidly. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. And this is so encouraging because you take a look around the political environments and different governments and they just don't seem to care and they're not doing anything about it. So it's very encouraging to hear that your company is. So that's great. I love that.
Thank you.
And you kind of touched on this a little bit, but what advancements in AI and real-time applications are you most excited about coming up in the next few years?
The two that come to mind, so the standard ones, machine learning, there's always benefits to it, of course, but basically it's very advanced use of statistics, big data. The types of AI systems that are being innovative now, like generative AI, are something that was really never expected to
Mhm.
basically create these large language models that are representative of man's knowledge, and then to let it be creative and put together concepts. It is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And what I did to understand better how it works, because a lot of people say, oh, it just puts one word after another. But if you look at it, you intuitively know that it's coming up with some very innovative ideas. So I
Mhm.
read Steven Pinker's book on language and
Okay.
words and other books like that to understand what is represented in the mass of human knowledge that exists all over the internet or in private databases. And then I realized that no, this is not a simple change. This is a major change. This is not the last one. Now, it's significant because it uses language,
Mhm.
input and output, and we're making it used for real time. But as I said earlier, spatial intelligence will be another major change. Training systems based on video, which is hard. It's not standard frame by frame training for computer vision. This is monitoring what happens as a tiger jumps towards you and what do you do? And this is how a baby's mind works. And there are going to be new innovative systems that are going to be able to train models to do that kind of stuff. And we're able to incorporate that. I cannot tell you what kinds of AI are going to go beyond that. I assume chemical acoustics for real time are going to make differences like we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And so it's an exciting time to live for sure, very exciting. I'm having
Yeah.
more fun learning about this than ever, and also implementing it for good. This
Mhm.
is what, we have to do. And
Yeah.
it's a funny dynamic. It's almost as if the technology is there just in time. We all know
Yeah.
about the world problems, right? We have all these wars going on and climate change and healthcare. Hospital, the whole architecture of it is a little bit outdated when you have all these sensors that can do things remotely.
Yeah.
So the technologies are just now hitting to address these major challenges. I
Mhm.
don't know if it's just luck or some feedback mechanism that exists, some complexity mechanism that is driving us to design all of these systems. But the fact is that they're coming to the market, and
Mhm.
our goal is to make them useful to save lives, basically.
That's great. I love that. And before we wrap up, I'd like to ask a couple of lighter questions so our audience can get to know you a little better. When you
Yeah.
do step away from your work, what are some activities or hobbies that you are passionate about?
Oh, so on a personal basis, I love nature. So
Mm,
I live in Colorado. I live
mhm,
near hiking trails. I hike almost every day I can. I love skiing and mountain biking. So I love getting out in nature. I think that there's really a very big health aspect to it that we don't understand. Maybe it's pheromones in the air. I don't know. But
mhm.
that's one of the key things that I like doing. The other thing I like doing is studying. I love
Oh,
just reading about this and
yeah.
reading about some of the innovators in AI and what they're thinking, and also looking at different aspects of knowledge. It's not just computer science, but as I mentioned before, linguistics. And what other disciplines should we incorporate to get a much better set of solutions to problems in the world? So I love studying and reading.
And as an entrepreneur and a leader, what advice would you give to aspiring tech entrepreneurs seeking to make an impact through AI-driven technology?
Number one thing is to stay current, and it's hard. I've told my guys, I said, watch a YouTube video or read something on AI or related to AI, even things that are affecting the world, like climate change. Read one thing every day. Spend
Mhm.
15 minutes. That's all. But keep up with it, with what's going on, and be open to change. It can be a very good time we're living in, even though there are lots of challenges, if we as a race address it correctly. And we certainly have the brains to do that and the knowledge base around the world, people working together. Even look at open source. That's so many people working together, creating whole new ways of developing technology. So staying up with technology, seeing what's going on, that would be my advice. And don't get too scared. I will say that there are some scary things going on, but we have to look for solutions. We've got to have a positive
Yeah.
attitude, and we're getting the technology delivered to us to make that happen.
Great advice. I love that. And also, if you're finding solutions and you're actively pursuing that, it takes the fear away because you're doing something about it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's important. Mhm. Thank you
Precisely.
so much, Marty, for joining us today and sharing your insights. It's been a real pleasure talking with you and learning more about your work at Vantiq. It's such a great company and all the good that you're doing for the world. It's really great. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And if you're interested in learning about Vantiq, you can visit their website at vantiq.com. Keeping you connected to tomorrow. Today, this is Alicia with AInews.com.